Right, let's talk Cole Palmer. That's what I want to do first of all. Does Maresca deserve credit here, Cesc, for moving him into the 10 role?
Well, I think it's his best position. I mean, when you have talented players like that, straight away you want them as much in the middle as possible to make things happen, to create space for themselves, to let the team play. But yes, I'm sure that he's got his own style. He's got the team flowing, But especially last year, because this year we can say that things are starting to get better and better, and it's maybe easier. But last year there was such a difficult moment for Chelsea. Nobody really realized. Every now and then, or Saturday after Saturday, we'd see, okay, one assist from Palmer, but they lost. One goal from Palmer, but they lost. So that nobody really, got it all together. That he was doing really, really well, and sometimes even feeling it like it was a one-man team. But if Chelsea is in Europe this year, I believe that a big percentage is because Cole Palmer's performance last season, he was outstanding. And I'm happy because these talented players, nowadays they are a little bit unprotected. They are a little bit getting away from our game. They don't have the same spaces as before. They don't have the same type of confidence from coaches, to let them be themselves, to create the spaces for themselves and make things happen the way they feel. And we are seeing this, from Palmer, and I think this is really important, not only for Chelsea but for football in general and the Premier League and England national team.
I found the whole debate over the weekend and following on from there, Nedum, about who he reminds people of really interesting, because nobody seems to quite be able to put their finger on it. And I've heard everything from Theo Walcott saying he's a bit Bergkamp-esque to a quote from Maurizio Pochettino in 2023 likening him to Angel Di Maria.
When he left Man City, I think myself and probably thousands of other City fans were thinking, oh, the fee, that's a good fee for him, for somebody that's not really going to be playing, so fair enough. But murmurs within the club were that this guy is actually incredibly talented, but the work that he's done since he's arrived at Chelsea has been remarkable. And from early in the season when he first went, where he's like taking penalties, like how's he taking penalties over like Raheem Sterling? How's he taking penalties over this guy, that guy? But then as he's progressed, you see what type of player he is. He's somebody that is desperate to find space, so he kind of plays like a 10. But then when he comes as a sort of wide, as a forward, he drifts inside, finds pockets. And what I like about him is probably, and I'm sure there's some stat for it potentially, but he looks for the forward pass first. He looks for a shot first. He's looking to have an attacking output whenever he can. And those players are, they're few and far between, because at times there's an element of control that some teams want to see. And if he makes a mistake, he's not concerned, but the quality he has. And best of all, with all due respect to him, I feel like football is his main thing in his life. And when he talks about it, when he plays it, you see the best version of him. Some of the other stuff which comes with being a celebrity, with being as good as he is, I don't think he cares about at all. Wants to just be at home eating his, like, was it Chinese takeaway or whatever, playing FIFA and then getting out there and playing football. But he's hugely impressive. I didn't see it coming. The stuff that he's done is remarkable. And he is definitely in the debate for one of the best players in the Premier League right now, which is not something I was expecting to say at any point in his career, let alone a year and a half after leaving Man City.
Is there such a thing in modern football that you can build a team around a player still, Cesc? And if so, would you?
I think so, yes, 100%. When someone is that special, when someone makes you see and feel that whatever happens in the team, he's a game changer, I believe so. We've seen it throughout the years with different type of players. And I think it's fair to say it could be the right thing to do, even if as coaches, sometimes we kind of hate, saying things like this because we want to protect the team and we want to protect the collective. But when you have someone that good, someone with such an impact on the pitch, I think the team themselves, they see that and they want Palmer to get on the ball as much as possible, because you can see 100%. Nedum says he plays forward, and it is true. He makes things happen, but in a way that he makes it look so easy, which is the impressive thing in a league where he's so competitive, so physical, so fast. And when he has the ball, it feels like everything is slow. Everything becomes very, very clear in his eyes, because he sees he's always with this body position that he's able to play any pass in any angle on the pitch. And yes, going back to your question, I think it's still possible when a player is that special to create a team around him.
So I'm not sure if this is common knowledge as such, but when he was coming through City's academy, he was a good player, but he wasn't the best player. And it came to a point where I believe just before he came in for under 16s or 17s or whatever that first stage is of coming in full time, that they were potentially going to let him go. And I think looking at sort of data, just the way he was as a person, they were looking to let him go. But apparently one of the reasons he stayed is Jason Wilcox, who was the academy director at Man City at the time, stuck his neck out and said, no, I think there's something here with this player. And now we get to see what type of player that he is. I think he came through a very good sort of City academy side. It's the side that won the Youth Cup in 2020. But I think it just shows sometimes, like, to be able to see something and be able to have the courage to sort of stick with it. Like Cole Palmer could have been lost in a system. He could have been playing something else, could have been doing something somewhere else. But now we see him, as I say, as one of the best players in the Premier League. And it is, as I say, I love it. You could argue it's down to Jason Wilcox when he was at City at that time.
But also, one other thing with that, Cesc, and we've touched on this before, and I was talking to Brian Barry Murphy on Monday night on 5 Live on the Monday Night Club, who was in charge of City's development squad for the last 3 years. Is also a head coach and manager in his own right. And he highlighted the importance of luck in all of this as well. And he actually spoke about Rico Lewis in this situation, whereby Rico Lewis was trained with the first team because Kyle Walker might have been missing. Kyle Walker couldn't go on the US tour to America, couldn't go on the preseason tour to the USA. They took Rico Lewis. He impressed Guardiola, and all of a sudden, he's more integrated and there's a bit more of a vacancy. So when you are breaking through as a youngster, one of the things you need is a vacancy ahead of you, don't you?
100%. I mean, I think all the players in the world, or at least 99% of them, we can all say that there was one point in this certain moment that we were a bit lucky. You know, my luck, for example, was to find Arsene Wenger in my life at such a young age. And otherwise I would have been at the Barcelona Academy, you know, with thousands of kids that were maybe better than me, and probably I would have never got the opportunity. So we all get this chance that either you take it or you don't. And it's just impressive, you know, because we all have our own story. And I'm sure, you know, Palmer in this case, I remember him when I did the Champions League final 2 years ago. He was just doing keepy-uppies with Foden because they were on the bench, they were warming up, and the way they were doing things, technically I was like, oh my God, I forgot that this even exists, this type of player, so talented. You know, they couldn't let the ball go off on the floor. So I think it's just great to see, you know, players like this making such an impact at such a young age. And also as surprise, maybe it's difficult also for Pep, you know, to identify this type of talents when you have so much talent already in the first team and you see week in, week out the best players in the world. Then him coming to Chelsea in a very difficult moment when nobody really is making an impact, or there is maybe not so much talent at the time, him coming there and just doing a couple of things that are different than the rest, you know, made it so obvious that he was a very good player, and everyone started to go and looking out for him. He got the confidence, he started playing, he got better and better, and maybe this kind of click, you know, made him even better than what he was supposed to be. But yeah, I believe in luck, but I also believe in determination and hard work, and making this luck that you get the chance, you know, good for taking your opportunity.